Whoa! That's right, we're live. It's me, Gazbot, and it is time for TRL Twitch Request Live. If you are here for the first time, good, welcome. If you're here for the second or millionth time, also good welcome. You get a good welcome regardless of your number. Anyway, we are getting ready to get going here. It is 5:31, so it's exactly on time. I got a little wire tangle here, but we're not going to let that stop us. And I'm going to be doing what I normally do on Fridays, starting at 5:30. I thought about starting earlier at 5. I wasn't able to do that today, but next week maybe I'll start earlier. We'll find out. It'll be updated in my little thing below, on my Twitch channel. Meanwhile, I'm going to do what I normally do. I'm going to alternate between sketches. I'm not doing any finished art on these streams. What I do is alternate between sketches of things that I feel like drawing and or researching, whether just for fun or for a project coming up. And then every other one, I take requests from the chat. So if you guys have requests, you could throw them out now. You could throw them out later. You could ask me questions. You could talk amongst yourselves. You could talk to me. Whatever the case may be, it will be considered. And I am right now opening up a reference folder because, as I said, the first thing is going to be for myself. And I feel like drawing a monster from the 80s, a kaiju, an American kaiju, animated from the 80s from a lesser-known TV show called Inhumanoids. And it had three main monsters, one of which was known as Tendril, and that is who I'm going to do a drawing of, a sketch of. He's sort of like, let me see if I could show you here. Hold on. If I copy and paste this into Photoshop, you'll be able to see real quick. I'll grab a picture of the, let me just bring it in here like that. So you can see that's the toy, Humanoids Tendril review. And the toys, I don't have any, but they're tall. The figures were about 6 inches, and the monsters were like 12 or something. So I'm not going to leave that in here. And I have other reference as well, but that is one I just wanted to show you. And it looks like there's a few viewers in here already, so thank you for joining us. If you feel like lurking, that is totally cool. Once again, if you feel like chatting, asking questions, or giving suggestions for the next sketch, that is equally as cool. All right, so sorry, I showed you guys that reference and I didn't get it ready for me to look at. So let me see. Some of the from the animation are a little bit better, but yeah, he's a little inconsistent, as with a lot of 80s properties, especially ones that didn't go as far as Transformers or G.I. Joe or something like that. So depending on if I'm looking at the toy or the cartoon or the comic or even packaging, sometimes it's different. But I'm just going to sort of a waist-up shot. But the basic gist is he's a big plant-like creature, kind of like Tendrily and Cthulhu-y, but all plant-based. So his hands are like vines. Everything is like one big greenish vine. He doesn't really have like a wood, like the brown of wood. It's all green. So he's sort of like slimy slimy plants. I don't know. And then he's got mostly green, but he's got two big red tentacles on his mouth, like little tubicles. Tubicles? Those aren't things. All right, so do that. And his head is sort of low on the shoulders. Let me look at it. Right now I'm looking at a comic book reference. I'm going to look at a different one. Yeah, even within the show, like depending on if it was the first episode or a later episode, it looks a little different. And I'm using Chatbot. I actually don't have Twitch open. I'm using Streamlabs and Chatbot. And I don't see anybody saying anything, so hopefully that is accurate and not just because it's not showing up. Because I'd hate to be ignoring people. If it seems like I'm ignoring you, I'm not. All right, so I'm going to take this layer, bring it down to 50. Do another pass over top. I'm going to actually grab a blue color. Darkish blue, and I'll bring this from 66 down to about 42. It's still soft round opacity, and do like sort of a second pass, and then I may do one more and then throw in some color. We'll see. There's a lot of room for interpretation on this guy, but usually when I'm doing this sort of thing, I'm not necessarily trying to put my own spin on it so much as get the basics of how he's supposed to look, the important parts, and then later on if I make a print or do a more finished piece of art, that's when I might put my own spin on it, if I do at all. It's kind of difficult for me with animated characters especially to deviate too much, because unlike something like Superman, as long as it looks like a white 30-year-old muscle guy with black hair, it's going to look like Superman. But it's the difference between Superman from the comics or like the Bruce Timm animated Superman designs. Like there's only so much you could deviate before it starts to become something else. And so for a lot of these properties that are primarily animation, even though it's not Mickey Mouse, it's the same where there's sort of specific ways it needs to look. But I did just get done saying how it's a little inconsistent over different mediums. So, you know, there are rules that, the professionals that worked on it broke, so I suppose I could also break them. And he's got like heavy shadow. Kind of reminds me of like the X-Men cartoon from the 90s where they put like really heavy blacks in some of the animation. I don't know if I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to probably make this layer uh, less opacity going forward, so it won't be that dark going forward. All right, and his head shape is very weird. I'm just switching up, looking at a different. And sometimes he's just got those two big tendrils, and other times he's got more ones on the side. Oh, I have my brush opacity only at 50%. Let me put that to 100. But I guess there should be something, depending on the artist and the medium, they're bigger or smaller, but I guess it should be at least a little bit tendrily. Hence his name, Tendril. Very creative back then. Very creative. Airzuki, oh my go, it's a Gaz. Well, that proves that chat's working, so good. Thank you for that test. And it is a Gaz. I'm working on my first choice for me, which is some Inhumanoids action. Airzuki. And she loves it. Oh, look at that. HK Xavier. How's it going with you? It's going great with me. Just getting the stream started here. And then the next one I do will be taking requests. I see you've been hard at work getting prints ready. Powerpuff Girls and Ninja Turtles and stuff. So well job for you. Hello, Dolly Girl. You are a laughing Dolly Girl. Let me scroll out, zoom out a little bit. Hey, Scamander. My cat is over here. There she comes. Hi, what's up? Feed me. It's early. She's like sniffing my eye. Is there food in your eye? I had a sort of a, I don't know, pastry is calling it too much because it came in a box. I got like a Hostess Twinkie type thing, but it was egg roll. What was it called? Eggnog Swiss roll or something. I had one of those right before I started the stream. I think she's like smelling it on my breath. Don't you want meat and cat things? No, I want your egg. I keep wanting to call it egg roll. Your eggnog thing. Xavier, doing all right, man. Thank you. Cool. I like it when everyone's doing at least all right. Preferably better, but we'll all right is acceptable. It's acceptable. All right, let me take this layer down to 10%, and we'll bring this one. Actually, but we'll keep going on this one. I don't want to spend too much time on him, so maybe I will put a little bit more detail in this layer. He's got like, yeah, it's like, again, it's sort of a melty texture, even though he's supposed to be made out of plant. So maybe I'll do a little more texture on this, and then I'll just lower the opacity to like 50 or 75, and then do one more layer over it for a little bit more hard line. So I'll do one more after this, then some quick color, and then I will take a request if anybody wants to throw some out. I don't think I have any yet, so your chances of getting chosen are pretty high right now. Your chances of getting chosen are pretty high in general in these streams because, not a ton of people are checking me out yet, and even those that are, a lot of them are lurking or maybe don't have an idea right now, which is all fine. But if you've got one and you've ever thought, boy, I never get picked, the chance to get picked is pretty high. All right, he's got a little bit of a Swamp Thing man thing going on here too. More man thing, I guess, because he actually doesn't have a face, whereas Swamp Thing usually does have a face. Put some more heavy shadow, darks in there, and then just, I don't know, smoke. Well, no, because he should be like in a forest, so I'll put some trees. Actually, I'll do what the pros do and not draw the trees. I'll draw the blackness around the trees. What? Yeah, you see that? So I'll kind of, well, I guess I do kind of have to draw the trees to be able to draw the blackness around them. Xavier, I'd like to see you draw the white Beetleborg. Wow, they don't get much love. That's funny. I was talking about them. I don't know if it was on some stream I was talking about them. The show itself, I'm not a huge fan of, but I have a bunch of Beetleborg action figures because I love chrome on my action figures, and so they had a lot of chrome ones. I don't actually have the white one, but I have like the three main ones and a few others and Shadowborg and stuff. But yeah, they don't get a lot of love. And I shouldn't say it's not like I hate the show or anything. I just didn't watch it growing up, and as an adult, it's a little hard to get into. I've also never watched Bee Fighters, the Japanese footage that it's from. Maybe, who knows, maybe that's better or more to my liking. But I do like the character designs a lot, so I would have to look up some reference, but that's not a bad suggestion at all. Hey, what's up? One of my other cats. We have 3 cats. All right, so let me take this whole thing down 75, and then I'll go in with one more. I'll grab more of a dark green, almost black, and then I will make it be brush and I will bring the opacity hard round pressure instead of that soft one, and I'll bring it to 90% just to blend it in a little bit. Xavier, they look super cool, but yeah, the show is weird. It's tough whenever all the main characters are kids, I guess. I mean, I guess it can be done, but it was, yeah, I don't know. And then it had that flabber guy who was sort of like an Elvis impersonator, Dracula with a big nose. I don't remember what he was supposed to be. I remember what he looked like, but I don't remember what he was supposed to be. I guess I kind of got the impression, and I didn't check the timeline on this, but I kind of got the impression that after Aladdin, that show came out, and the flabber like mentor, character was almost kind of doing like a Robin Williams thing where he was like just throwing out pop culture references and doing impersonations, and they were like, oh, people loved, the genie from Aladdin, so let's make him be like that. Oh, hey Abe, Abe Sapien is here to be an able human. What about the Inhumanoids soldier armor? The yellow is too easy. How about one of the other guys? Oh, so your request is another Inhumanoid. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I'll definitely take that into consideration. As a kid and as an adult, I've never had any of the Inhumanoids kaiju, like the big monsters or there were good guy monsters too, and I never had any of those. The Earth Core, which is the armored heroes, I had only one of. And it's funny because I really liked this show, and I remember having like a coloring book and a bunch of other stuff, but I don't know, they were either expensive or hard to get, or I don't know, I just didn't end up with very many of them. So I only had Herc Armstrong, the green one. Um, but I recently bought a lot of like some toys online for cheap. It was just like random stuff, and in it there were some busted up Inhumanoid figures, again of the heroes with the armor. Um, and I probably won't keep the figures because they're not in good shape at all. But they both had their helmets, so now I'm on the quest to find. A lot of times you see those figures in decent shape missing their helmets, so now I'm on a quest to find the figures missing the helmet so I could put them together and make them whole. And of course, I would love to have the kaiju figures as well. Actually, briefly, I had this character Tendril. I had his head. I got it at like a flea market or something for a quarter, and I was like, oh, if I ever find the body, and I tried to do something with it, but after a while, I think I sold it or gave it to someone. I just got frustrated with not having anything but the head. It seemed like it would be something I could do something with, but I didn't, and I got rid of it. All right. I'm doing this whole thing super heavy. So I'll go in with a couple light lines. I'm almost done with the lines here. Then I'll throw in some quick color, and then we'll move on. Probably taking a little longer than I should on this guy. It's hard because I'm trying to put a lot of detail in because he's got a lot of detail, but it's supposed to just be a quick sketch too, so I'm kind of faking it. Kind of the way I'm doing it, if anybody knows Creed Stonegate, he does a lot of 80s stuff and a lot of stickers and things like that. And this style, not intentionally, kind of reminds me of his style, like with a heavy black and the animation, 80s animation and stuff like that. He sells, I can't remember the name of his site, but Creed Stonegate, he sells a lot of art. If this looks like something you might like, check him out because it's mostly what he does. We got some more here. What about how do I get to Gazbot's video? Yay. Wait, what? What do you mean? How do you get to Gazbot's video? I assume you don't mean the stream because you're in it. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean like my YouTube? I mean, I have a Gazbot YouTube channel, which rebroadcasts the streams and has some other stuff on there. All right, I'll leave the background more or less like it is. Just put a couple little dinkers in there. And then I think I'm going to bring this whole thing down to 50. Yeah, that's better. And then I'll just put some quick color underneath, and then we'll move on. And as I said, he's mostly green, so I'll just grab sort of a light green, like a yellow green. There, that'll work. And I'll switch over to pencil tool, because when you use brush, it often gets like a little weird edge of the, I don't know, anti-aliasing or whatever you call it, and then you have to fill it in. But if you use pencil, it's not good for subtle coloring, but for flats, it is the way to go. So fill him in, blop, and then we'll do some blue. See, in this picture, his eyes are blue. Let me see if they're always blue. Blue. On the toy, I think they were black, maybe. Gray. Blue. Yeah. In the toy, they're kind of black. Everywhere else, they're kind of blue. So I'm going to go blue, but I'll go with a dark blue. Like this. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. That is the correct color. There we go. That might be too dark. Nah, I'll leave it because I'll put a highlight in it. And then the red for his tendrils, his tendril tentacles. Tendricles, his tendricles. There we go. All right. And then I will go ahead and put a little bit of highlights and shadows real quick to make this pop out a little bit more with the green. Glutes. And now I'll switch back to brush as well because I don't want it to be too imprecise. Dolly Girl. It was showing another video before. I found the correct video now. It had said YouTube was streaming in 3 minutes and was very confused. And there was a video. I just started doing a thing that is me. Oh, you know what it is? If I'm not streaming, it'll host another streamer sometimes, like somebody on my friend list. But my chat is still there. So it might have been saying, oh, it's going to start in 5-10 minutes, but you're watching like a gamer or another artist or something that I follow. Because just, again, when I'm idle, it'll sometimes host other people that I like. And then as I got closer, I just started doing a thing where I have a video of me like being a weird, saying the stream will start soon. So maybe that was what confused you a little bit. But I guess you got it all figured out now. So a little more shadow there. Oh my gosh, my phone just pinged with a message, but it had a weird echo. Like instead of going ping, it was like pinging. I'm gonna take this shadow and bring it down to 75, and I'll put a little bit of shadow in the eyes. I'll just do straight black for that. Oop, I have the green selected, so I gotta fix that. There we go. And I'll put a little bit of shadow in the red, right by the connecting part. And then I'm going to go a quick highlight layer, and we should be about done with this feller. I'll go a little bit more yellow-green and lighter, and I'll get a little bit more precise. Excuse me. Let's see. Show another 3 minutes of very fuse. Okay, so you're good. Ape Sapien, do you know if Zoids were around at that time? I remember seeing a Godzilla and King Kong type. I'm pretty sure they were out before 95. Pretty sure. Zoids... Here's the thing. Zoids were big in the 90s and had like a show and became like this whole new thing. But previous to that, I have a memory of having Zoids, but there was like no storyline. They were like Lego before Legos were like Harry Potter and Star Wars and stuff. They were just like a building thing. And they all had kind of like a triangular cockpity looking head with like little gold men in them or stuff. And they'd wind up and you'd have to build them. They were similar to the Zoids that everybody saw later. So I think they existed in the 80s. As a brand, but the sort of lore and like what it became later, the more popularized Zoids, I think wasn't until like the 90s. So I'm not sure if that answers or not. I don't ever remember seeing a Godzilla or King Kong, but there were a lot of dinosaur-y ones, so maybe it was... maybe I just never saw it, or maybe what you remember is just, giant ape, giant Tyrannosaurus that kind of looked like that or whatever. Right, highlight on the eyes. I might actually decide to give a little glow. Yeah, that works. Those little guys like that. I see them do it that way a lot. And some highlight on the tendricles. That's right, we're calling them tendricles. I think there's only 1 or 2 suggestions, requests right now, so feel free to throw more in. And they stack too. If I don't get to them now, and the next time I do a request, after the 2 drawings after this or whatever, if I haven't got a lot more, I might go back and see what was suggested, requested that didn't get done. I'm gonna put a little bit of glow on the tendricles because sometimes it's depicted that way, and in the toy it sort of had clear day glow. Oops, I want to do that over everything else. There we go. But I'll bring it down to 25%. Nope. So I think it was sort of like when he'd get mad or something. Oop. I have the eraser on full opacity. I want it on 50%. And I want it a little softer. There we go. All right. I think I should be done. I want to keep going, but the whole point is just to do a quick study. So I will save that, and I'll take a look at the chat in a second. And we'll call that Tendril 1. And not save it in that folder, but save it in the Twitch stream folder. Dooba-dooba-doop. Twitch request live. Done. And I'll clear all this off. And let's go back and see what's going on in the chat that I may have missed. Okay, so, oops, let me move this. Okay, Xavier, I remember Zoid's commercials as a kid. LOL, I was born in '95. I always remember the Lions. Yeah, there was like Liger, Tiger Liger or something was like one of the big ones. So like that was I was aware they were out, but I wasn't really collecting them or into them specifically. And it's like with the one I was describing is like technically the same line, but like a different reality or a different marketing push. So Ape Sapien tainted memories, haha, maybe, yeah. And Airzuki doesn't know. Okay, so let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Uh, White Beetleborg is one request, and what was the other one? Humanoid Soldier Armor. The yellow is too easy. One of the other guys. Uh, Xavier, there was a show in 2002 or 4 or something. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about with like the sort of the secondary, like after it was just a toy, it became more of a brand and had like heroes and villains and stuff. Um, both of those are good suggestions, the White Beetleborg and the Inhumanoid armor. But you know, being that I'm on an Inhumanoid kick, I kind of got to go with Inhumanoids. It's right in the pocket of what I'm working on here. So I am gonna have to quick look up a reference. I won't do the yellow guy. I think I'm gonna do Herc Armstrong, who's the only one whose name I actually remember because he's the one I had as a kid. Armstrong, who is the green guy, and I remember him having kind of a weird helmet. Okay. Oh, here he is. This. Okay. Let me save these, and then I'll show you the picture real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I want to get some from the animation too, though, not just the the back of the card art. That's a good reference. A lot of times, art in general in toys, but especially in the 80s and 90s, the card art would be better than the actual toy, or sometimes even better than the actual cartoon. A lot of times it was painted or airbrushed, or even if it was digitally painted, it still just had like more a veneer of, I don't know, importance, or I don't know, there's something more gravitas to it. Okay, I'm still looking for an animation one though. I found the toy and I found the art, and I keep finding his head not in the helmet from the show, which makes sense because a lot of times he'd need to be talking or things like that. Oh, again. All right, I might just have to go without finding it. I found like 6 pictures of him, all without his helmet from the show. All right, you know what? We're going to not worry about what the show made him look like and just go with what we got. Let me close this. Oh, right, I want to show you guys what's going on here. Reference. All right, so this is the character that I'm going to be doing now. And I'll mainly be focusing on the head upper area since it's just a sketch. I don't want to get too crazy. So delete that layer. Let me see. The card art was awesome. Yeah, totally. Okay. Now that I have everything set up. Uh-oh. Sheepy's here. Sheepy's doing a turkey lurkey. Thanks for the lurk, Sheeps. You're the turkeyinest lurkey there is, and the lurkiest turkey there ever was. Until the next time. All right, so here we go with Herc Armstrong, the green armored guy from Inhumanoids. I'm like, what is it from? What is it from? All right, let me pick another that. So maybe I'll do a little bit. He has like a hook hand, so maybe I'll do a little bit of the hook hand. I'll kind of do a little bit more interesting angle here. He's got a real boxy head. It's funny because you said the yellow guy was too easy, but I think they're all kind of simple looking. He's sort of got a speaker mouth, and then almost like a. It's funny because this came out in the 80s, but his helmet is almost like a 50s robot, you know, like he's just wrapped in aluminum foil kind of deal. And then he's got pipes. They all had specialties. They were called Earth Core. That's what they're called. And so they all had specialties of like, I'm the chemist and I am the geologist. They were all like scientists, which was kind of cool. That like all the like, I mean, they still had action hero bodies and could still like fight like crazy and fire guns and all the stuff you'd expect. But they at their core, at their Earth Core, they were scientists. So that was kind of cool. And I think it was like one of them designed like the weapons. And then they made friends with like the tree people and stuff. And then it got very unscientific. But as fantastical a concept it was kind of supposed to be based in science at the very least. So he has this grappling hook arm that I wanted to have him like, my grappling hook arm. But I'm not sure if I can make that work clearly. Let me put a different layer here and just attempt it. Because like the arm would kind of come down and then up. So it would be like this. So it kind of, I mean, I guess I could. Let me see. It might just look weird that he's like staring down the barrel of his own grappling hook. Because really the point is just to get it in the shot. Like if I was making this a headshot, I would like to have each of because each of them had a special weapon for an arm, you know, or a scientific gadget for an arm, I should say, a tool. I guess I could have it like this, and then have the grapple kind of come up like that. Not ideal. Let me look at the chat here real quick. Lurk. Okay, still just turkey lurkey. I don't think I like it hanging down like that. So maybe what I'll do is pretend it's completely retracted. In the toy, it would sort of stick like this. But I think in the show, it would actually retract completely, so he wouldn't have a big hook hanging out of his hand all the time. It was more like a speary kind of thing. What is happening? Whoa. The Sargonis is here. Wow. Well, thanks for checking me out, and thanks for the little follow there, buddy. You're turning into a cyborg as soon as I get a chance. I'm going to send you some parts and a little do-it-yourself kit. So thank you for that. You're a true robot-man hybrid. All right. So I don't know if I like that, but we're going to leave it for now. And then I'll just go in with another pass on this guy. And, oh, you know what? I should erase the part that is... I'm going to erase all this stuff and just make it one layer. Clop. And then I'll merge these two. I think the cats are giving Airzuki trouble in the background. Merge down. All right, I'm going to take this whole thing down to 50. Oops, not 5. 50. There we go. And we do another... Now, this is, again, even though I just did an Inhumanoids for myself, this was a request. And after I finish this one, I will be doing another request. And right now, I think there's only one request in the chat. So right now, there's a 100% chance I'm doing that one. If one other person requests, well, you got a 50-50 chance. So, all right, let me bring that more to black. And yeah, so once again, it's always appreciate everybody hanging out. If you don't want to give a request or anything, that's totally fine. Lurks are cool. You could chat amongst yourselves. You could ask me questions. I'm happy to answer almost anything. Anything non-controversial. I don't want like weird religious or political questions or anything like that. But, you know, art, life, nerd stuff. You can ask me sports questions too, although I won't have correct answers. Well, I almost never will have correct answers. It's possible if you ask me, like, who's the best basketball player? I'll be like, Michael Jordan. Or who's the best hockey player? I'll be like, Wayne Gretzky. Those are the kind of sports questions I could answer. Or I shouldn't even say best. I should say most famous, because I'm sure somebody's like, actually, Gennard Lemieux was better by stats than Gretzky, and I'll be like, if you say so, because I don't know. Basically what I'm saying is there's like 30 sports people that I know the names of, so any question, it's going to be one of them. And unlike Tendril, I think I'm just going to do the one pass here and then go with color, because he doesn't have as much necessary detailing. I'm going to look at a different reference because I can't tell how his head, it's not flat, it sort of like angles up a little bit. If I could find and again, depending on the reference, it's different. Boach. All right. Airzuki, yay, the Sargonis. Dolly Girl, Falcor. Falcor from the Neverending Story, I'm assuming. Okay, well, so now we got two suggestions. Falcor and the White Beetleborg, I believe was the other one. All right, so this is sort of the bottom of the visor, but then it sort of goes up like that and out. Yeah, there we go. And I'll put a little bit of a curve to it. My voice got all weird there for a second. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, excuse me. Decaf, by the way, just for the flavor. Falcor, draw Falcor. Airzuki, I keep trying to type, but Uzi is licking my hand and headbutting. Well, you do have her name mixed in your name. So, Airzuki, for those that don't know, is a gaming streamer and a comic book club streamer who I live with because she's my wife. And we have 3 cats, and her name comes from 3 cats, 2 that we still have and 1 that we used to have. So the Zuki is the Uzi. You get it. Or if you don't, it doesn't matter. All right, and I'll connect this here. Now I'm not sure if there's something above the visor. I feel like it's mostly flat. Yeah, I'll just put another like sort of rounded layer on top here, which is maybe faking it a little bit, but I just think it looks a little bit better. And then I think this whole thing I should bring, let me bring the opacity back up to 100. This whole thing I should just bring in a little bit. I think I have it out too far. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do. Now I'm singing Mega Man. Why? I don't know. I guess because it's like an 80s robot. So, a guy in an 80s robot suit. There we are. Connection made. And I'm going to kind of fake this a little bit so that there's like sort of a neck seal, which I don't think was on the figure, but might have been in the cartoon because it makes more sense that it's like like a diving helmet, because most of these were airtight because they'd be down in the earth, you know, in lava and stuff where they couldn't breathe the hot air or there was poison gases or whatever. So while they all had specialties and all the suits had different gimmicks, I think the basic thing was that they were all environmental suits that let them exist anywhere, you know, water or underground or wherever. And I'm sure there were storylines where it's like, I've lost my helmet. I can't reach it. And then it'd be like, cut to commercial. And then it'd come back and it'd be like, oh, I got it. You know, the drama that lasted just the length of the commercials. Yeah, there's his little thing. And I actually remember this might have been the first time I ever saw it. I doubt this was the first time this gimmick was created, but as a kid, it was the first time I remember seeing the sort of the Day-Glo clear plastic where they'd have the light piping. So there'd be like a piece of green plastic on the visor, and it would extend up to a little hole on top would have green. So when light would hit it, they would light up. And it was the same for a lot of the monsters, like their eyes would light up or whatever because it had a piping of clear plastic to the top of the head. And I remember I thought that was so cool, and I would just use it all the time. I'd like put my finger over it so it like light up, and it'd be like, "Hi, I'm here too." You know, even though he wasn't a robot, I just liked the idea of it like lit up when he talked. All right, and then this box thing actually should be more up closer. I say box. It's a speaker. It's a circle, but I'm thinking speaker box. I don't know why I'm saying a box. There's nothing boxy about it. It's a circle and it's a speaker. It's the circle of box. All right. Oop. No, that's a stamp tool. I don't want that. I want an eraser tool. All right, and then he's got some vents. Looks like 1, 2, like about 6. I'm not gonna get too crazy. Whoa, whoa. Things are happening. We got another cyborg. Oh, no. Even better. It's Samurai Ox. Who needs a cyborg when you've got a Samurai Ox? Thank you for the host. Thank you for joining us and sharing the joining with others. Hey, God Soldiers #1 now following. I know you from Instagram, among other places. So thank you for checking it out, and thank you for the follow. And Airzuki, thank you for the host. There's too much craziness to keep up with. Whoa. You guys, you girls, you cybernetic life forms and Samurai Oxes. You're doing a good job. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming and looking, chatting, requesting, sharing, all that. You're superstars. Or as Airzuki would say, you're legends. You're legends. You're 6-inch Marvel Legends that cost $20 and then a week later cost $13 with free shipping. I'm also a toy collector. That's my bitterness when I buy figures at full price and then a week later they're on sale. But for those that haven't been here before, I'll just quickly recap. This is Twitch Request Live. I go till about 7 every Friday from 5:30 or so to 7. And I do quick sketches, no finished art, and I take requests in between. So this was I did one for myself, and then this was a request from the chat. And once I finish this, I'll do another one for myself, and then do another request, and so on and so on. And I think there's only 1 or 2 requests in the chat right now, so chances are high of getting chosen if that's something that interests you. If not, feel free to just hang out, watch, talk, ask questions, jam around, squam. I guess you could bim bam. You could bim bam if you want. I mean, you know, judgment free zone here. No bim bam, whatever. All right, taking a little too long on this guy. That's a common theme that you may notice. Taking a little too long on blank, whatever that thing is. That is my life. Not just in art either. I try to be quick and I just get wrapped up in stuff. All right, I am looking at this and I feel like the mistake I made wasn't so much about the placement of the circle/box thing. It's more that this visor should be up a bit higher. Yeah, I think that works a little better. I don't know if it quite makes sense for where his eyes would be, but design-wise, aesthetic-wise, it looks more correct. It looks more like the character. All right, so let me see if I turn this off. Yeah, I think I'm just going to turn that off completely. Just get rid of that layer, gone. And I'm just going to go color and move on from there. I don't want to get too crazy. Again, if this was, well, you know what? I say that, and I'm going to do one more because I want to put a little bit more detail lines, which is a little bit more comic book style than animation style, but I just feel like it's so plain. Just putting a couple little seam lines along where the metal meets makes me feel better. Just a little bit of seam lines. Oh, I missed a detail. He's got black vents on the top of his head there too. Well, I'll go back and do that in a second. I don't want to do it with the thinner line. I'm also recessing this a bit so that it's as though the glass is like a 1/4 inch or whatever it is, glass, plexiglass, energy, is about a 1/4 inch into the visor. And I'll put some of these. All right, and a couple Well, it's all kind of just texture lines, shading, like not shading, detail to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional and a little bit more real life as opposed to. I mean, it's a cartoon, but it was like again kind of a realistic like '90s X-Men sort of GI Joe style cartoon, not so much like a DuckTales style where you could get away with like a different, simpler aesthetic because they're supposed to be, it's not. I mean, DuckTales had adventure, but there was never like super heavy gravitas. I've used that word twice today, and I usually don't ever use it. So welcome to the gravitas usage. All right, switch back real quick. You know what? I'll do it like this. 1, 2, 3, up in there, and then I'll go back in and put a heavy line on top of it. But yeah, there's like these little vents on top, and you barely see it on that side. Okay, so then I'll go back up, grab this. So I guess it's sort of, I was calling this a speaker box, but maybe it's like a respirator breather type deal. And I guess those on top are mimicking it, so the whole thing is just one big filter. He's got a thing like that on his stomach too. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he talks out of his stomach. Let me check chat. Ox even better. LOL. All the monster trucks. I kid, but let's see Rocket Raccoon. Oh, okay, there's another one. Yeah, Ox in a previous request had requested I do Gravedigger, which was possibly the worst thing I've ever drawn, at least publicly. I've definitely drawn worse things, but I definitely wasn't like, yeah, I got it. I was like, this is going to be hard. And then I did it. I was like, it was, and came out kind of weak. Because I don't draw cars that often. I mean, they're usually just background of whatever else I'm doing. And I had never in my life drawn a monster truck, so it was definitely a learning experience, which is part of why I did it. Partially to honor a request and partially to stretch myself, but it definitely was a case where like, oh, I would need to do some research and spend some real time to get this to look like a thing that I wouldn't be embarrassed of. If you notice, when I put these up later on YouTube and stuff, and I'll do like a thumbnail and post some of the art from the stream, and I did not post that in the thumbnail. Because I'm not hiding that I did it, but I'm also not advertising it. Like, hey, look at this highlight, huh? Gravedigger, woo. All right, so this is silver, and then the hook itself is red, which I don't remember if that was the colors on the show, but I'm looking at the toy, so that's what we're going with. Is there any silver here? No. He has some red, though, just like Tendril did. And similarly, it's funny, I didn't even realize it, but I did Tendril, who's a green monster, and he's got a little bit of red highlight, tentacles coming out. And then I did a green hero that's got, like, red pipe highlights. I didn't mean to do two that were so similarly colored, but B, now I'm wondering if that was on purpose, and I wonder if there's any more like things that line up like that between the heroes and the villains, or if it was just this one-off thing. Okay, and then he's got bright green in here because of the light piping makes it glow. And then I'll go in with some almost black. I don't want it's black detail, but if I do black, it's gonna look weird. So I'll do kind of a purplish gray for these parts. Airsuki laughing at the Gravedigger. Aw, Sheepy. Hell yeah, brother! Sheepy won with the brother, with the Hogan, with the everything. You know what? I left a couple details. I'm going to go back to my black real quick and just put, oop, that is bad. Because I had it 90%. I don't want 90%. Bring this down. Just put a couple little, looks like 4 little buttons here that I missed. That one's the wrong size. What? And there's actually a line in the middle. Wow, how did I miss all these details? It's almost like I'm trying to look at a picture this big over there. That is what I'm doing. Oh, I see. And then there's a whole thing under here which you can't really see, but I can kind of indicate that it's there. Similarly, I think there's some like rivets, ratchets things here. Okay, back to color. So we'll do a quick pass of a darker green. Let me zoom out a little bit. I should put a background color of some sort. What color should I put in the background? Something, right? Oh, I don't want to do that right on the color. Something. Taking background color suggestions as well as suggestions for the next sketch after this. Or, well, after this. You know what I mean. Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and do... I'll go right to the next sketch request, because this is a sketch request, but it's something that I would have wanted to do anyway, so it's right in the ballpark of Inhumanoid, so I'm not going to count this. This was a fortuitous happenstance and a lucky freebie for all. So after I finish this, I'll go right into another request. I'm not going to count this as a request. All right, so I want to just put some simple cell shading, but I'm also kind of trying to give it like, make it less uniform and give it a little bit of shine since he's supposed to be metallic. I don't want it to look the same as if I was shading, when I shaded the plant monster or a human or something like that. A little bit less, more precise lines. You get what I'm saying. I don't know. Look at the lines I'm drawing and don't listen to the words I'm saying. All right, and then I'll put some shadow on these. And actually, there was some detail on the hoses that I didn't draw, so I'm going to draw them in the shadow like that. But then I'll still give a little bit of shadow there. There we go. And some on the hook. Yosh. And a little shadow on this. Now I will get a lot closer to black because it's the shadow, so that's fine. Underneath. And on there. All right. And, a little bit of shadow in the glow greens. Hey, glow greens, let's give you some shadow babies. I'm borning a shadow baby. What? All right. And on the silver on the hook, and then we'll move to highlight, and then we'll be almost done. Erzuki's request, Castiel. What? Why? Castiel from Supernatural. Fine, that's a fine request. But why did Erzuki feel the need to say Erzuki's request? It says Erzuki next to your name, so I knew who it was coming from. Or you could have just put request next, and it would say Erzuki request. I don't know. You're funny. Yeah, funny. That is a bad gray I picked. Let's try it that way. That's better. Okay, and now we'll go a highlight layer. Starting once again with the green. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. And I'll lower this down. Da-da-da-da-da. And once again, I talked about this before, but when it comes to like these animation designs, I feel like the color is what really sells it. Because without the color, it's such a basic design. It looks, it looks to me like a coloring book. It doesn't mean it's bad art or anything, but it looks unfinished because it's, I don't know, it's hard to, I would have to kind of redesign it and do it in sort of a comic book, like black and white rendering sort of thing. But if I try to be true to what it's supposed to be, it ends up, oh, you know what I just realized? There should be part of his shoulder going through here that I totally missed. So I'm going to do a quick retcon and put that shoulder there. Bonk. And, I need the ink line to hold it, I suppose. Just do a quick. It's not perfect, but none of this is perfect, so good enough. Because this is a clear area between the, yeah, you get it. Erzuki, excuse me, but the customer, also me, is always right. Dolly Girl, Castiel is a good choice. Uh-oh. Second vote for Castiel. Ho! What is happening? Restless Hands, thank you for the follow there. You're going to be a cyborg one day. Just get in line. It's coming. I appreciate the follow. I appreciate you checking it out. I appreciate everything about you that I know about. I mean, you could be a horrible person in other areas, but right now here on Twitch in this stream, aces. All right, I'm almost done here. What am I doing? Oh, a little more highlight. I got sidetracked by putting in that shoulder. Let me do a quick highlight in red. And no one has an opinion on what background color, huh? Oh, whoa, that is the red highlight, and I put it on green. I am leaning towards sort of a dark blue. If I don't hear anything else, that's probably what's going to happen. Okay, highlight for the Gazbot. What is that? Okay. Got confused my layers real quick. I fixed it. I figured it out. What's happening? Lots of good things. Oh, Kevin paints. That guy. I know Kevin. He paints stuff. Yeah, he paints good stuff. All the time. Like oil paintings every day for months. He's insane. You should check him out. If that is the Kevin I'm thinking of. If not, it's another Kevin that paints. Wait, how do you spell his name? Nope, it's the one I was thinking about. Thank you for the follow there, sir. Hey, Restless Hands. Hey, Kelsey. Oh, that's Erzuki. And then we got some emote that I can't see. Looks like coffee. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You've just controlled my behavior with an emote, whether you intended to or not. It's happened. Purple. Dark Plum. Erzuki throwing out the suggestions. Kevin, welcome. I think a really hot pink would look cool against that green. Well, you know what? I'll just do a flat and we'll see. All right, we're almost done here. Let me put a highlight on the green and the visor, and then we're going to move on. Well, I got to do the background too still. I keep wanting to move on quicker than I'm actually ready. There's that. And you know what? I'll do a little light piping glow as well. I'll put a little white in there. That's good. Let me put a light piping glow on top of everything for his visor face. Herc Armstrong, your visor face is getting out of control. I've heard that before, but I refuse to bow to the pressure of society. What? All right. Look at him. He's glowing like a crazy. That's way too much. So we bring it down to 25%. Now it's much more in line with what society would like, despite Herc Armstrong's, protestations. Protestations? He's a Protestant. Whatever. All right. Background color. So let's first try a hot pink. Let me get the hottest pink. That's pretty hot pink, I think. Boom. That's very 80s, I will say. But I think if I did that, I would need to do a little white kind of rim light around it. Almost looks airbrushy. That's not what I intended. Ugh, this is giving me airbrush t-shirt nightmares. I'm not sure I like that. All right, let's see if we do, what was the other, purple? Hold on, what was the other suggestion? Purple or dark plum? Dark plum. This is probably not as dark as you intend. I like that better, though. I like that, and I am going to do a little white rim light. Let me get closer here. But I'm not going to do it all airbrushy. I'm going to use more of a hard line. So I'll bring this down to, 40, whatever. And then just do a little skibbity-doo. Hi, I'm a hard line line. Hard line line? Yeah, I'm a hard line line. I don't know. I thought this was a good idea, but once again, I'm not liking it. Makes it look like a sticker or something, which I guess doesn't matter. I get too hung up on these. They're supposed to just be sketches, right? Right? Yeah. Maybe if I take, here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put another layer of purple, but a lighter, and just sort of soften that whole thing up. Go back to the brush tool, take the soft round pressure opacity, bring it up to 92%, bring the opacity down to 25%. Actually, I'm going to bring the brush size up to 300. There we go. Now we got a nice little poofy brusher. All right. And then I'm going to take that hard line and bring it down to 75%, the white I'm talking about. Nope, let's bring it down to 50%. Good enough. Good enough. We're going to call Herc Armstrong done. And like I said, even though that was a request, I'm just going to go right to the next request. Breaking form. We don't care. We'll do what we want. So Herc 1, saved. And let me erase this. Clear the plate. And let me review the chat here. Restless Hands. I was going to say yellow. Well, too late. Sorry, I didn't see that until after. Neon potato color. Well, maybe next time we'll put some potato colors. Neon is like a brown neon. I don't even know how to do that. It sounds like something horrible. Samurai Ox is flipping tables. Dolly Girl, I like that. Cool. Okay, so the one who suggested it is happy with it. So let me go back and see what we got suggestions. We had the White Beetleborg. We got Falcor. A Joke Gravedigger. Castiel. Rocket Raccoon. A second for Castiel. Oh, I didn't even see this. Fucking finally! This is Kelsey, by the way. Well, thanks for joining us, Kelsey. I'm sorry you're so angry about it. Oh, you're angry that you haven't been a cybernetic life form. Okay, so you're actually hopefully happy now. But it depends on the type of cyborg you are, because you would think it removes all emotions, but that's not the kind of cyborgs I usually make. So if you want to have your emotions removed, let me know, and we'll do like more of a Cyberman Doctor Who kind of upgrade. All right, I think I saw all of them. So Castiel sounds fun, but my likenesses are not awesome. Let me see. Falcor. Let me pull up some reference of Castiel. Since we got 2 votes for Castiel, I'm going to take a look and see if I can find a decent picture. Castiel is a character from the TV show Supernatural, for those that don't know. He is... I don't want to give spoilers. He's not in the first couple seasons. He shows up later. He is a pretty good character. He might be my favorite character on the show. I like the actor a lot. All right. Supernatural. Castiel. Images. This is the best part of the show where you watch me search. Let's see. No, I'm fine. Okay. Just robot arms. You got it. I'll tell you what. I'll give you one that's like a normal arm that has fingers and stuff, and the other one will have a knife, a buzzsaw, a laser, a Gatling gun, and a nice like a Japanese brush pen. So that'll be your other one. Okay. That's a pretty good one. They call me M. Hey, pal. Well, hey, pal to you, M. I'm going to call you M because that's what they call you, and I'm part of they. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying hey, pal. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, rather than go for like a strong likeness, I think I'm going to go for more of the character. I am going to do Castiel, but I'm not going to worry too much about making it look like Misha Collins, who is the character. I'm going to go more for the essence of what the character is on the show, which minor spoilers for those that care, don't listen. Castiel is an angel, so I'm going to draw his angel self. You know what? I'm going to turn this. I'm going to turn this canvas. Oops, hold on. Image, rotate. I hate. I know I always complain about the new Photoshop, but it just always screws me up when I'm used to certain things. I just want to rotate canvas. Where are you, buddy? Canvas size. Image rotation. All right, we'll do image rotation. Goats. There we go. More of a horizontal landscape, if you will. Restless hands. Oh, it's funny. Restless hands. I need all those things, and I'm tired of carrying them. See, okay, good. We're helping people. We're fixing the world here. Erzuki, Essence of Castiel, available on Amazon. Wait, I didn't say that right. Erzuki says, Essence of Castiel, available on Amazon this winter. There you go. Now we're doing it. So we're gonna get his little head here, and a little body jam. That's his tie. And what's he got in his hand? A bottle? Some Essence of Castiel, maybe? Who knows? And then, of course, this is sort of like a cheat because you don't usually see his wings, but I don't care because we're going for the Essence of Castiel. This will be on the poster in Sotheby's. What is Sotheby's? I don't know. And we'll do some, oops, and we'll do some little, come on, you. What am I doing? There we go, layer. Some little sunbeam thingers. And whatever that is. I don't know. We're probably not going to get into all that. So I was going to lower the opacity, but it's always so low. We'll just go to the next layer. And, oh, I had it at 25%. That's why. I'll bring this up to 75%. And I'll stay on the soft pressure opacity, but I'll bring it down to 37. And because there's a slider now, I'm not like 37. It's like I'm going for roughly 40, and I just hit 37. Erzuki, this is very essence-y. I like it. Yeah, very essence-y. Oh, you know what? I want to go even lower. 28? 28. Okay, yeah, that's better. And he's got a normal guy haircut. Nothing too fancy, this schmancer. What's the answer? Schmancer. What's schmancer? Well, that's the answer. Essence of Castiel by Estee Lauder. Dolly Girl. Wings. Yes, indeed. Again, for those familiar with the show, you don't really see his wings very often at all. It's kind of, but it's a cheat. I don't care. It's a piece of art. It's not a tech manual. It's not a blueprint on how to build a Castiel. It's just a drawing of the essence of Castiel. And he's got his coat. Sometimes he has a tie. Sometimes he doesn't. I prefer him with the tie, so he's getting the tie. And I'll probably do another pass over after this one. How are we doing on time? I didn't even look. 6:24, so we're doing okay. Got time for at least one more request after this. So there's a few in the queue, but if anybody has any new ones, feel free to throw them out. And in this hand, he's got what? He's got a blade. I forget if this is called the Angel Blade, or I want to call it an Angel Blade, but I think there might be a more specific name to it that I'm forgetting maybe. If anybody is a Supernatural fan that remembers the actual name of this thing, feel free to tell me. And I'm going to bring this opacity down, up, haha, and bring the size down. There we go. I'll definitely need another pass after this. And there's we call that a forearm, and that attaches the elbow. And the shoulder bone's connected to the wing bone, that's right. So, kind of give a little winger. Deborah Winger, Bobby Singer. Bobby Singer, another character from Supernatural. Also named after one of the executive producers, I think. Robert Singer is in the credits, and in one of the episodes they give a little wink nod to that I think that head is too big. I'm going to use the magic of digital and just shrink that head right on down like a shrinky dink. Bigger gets littler, taller gets smaller, and you make your favorite things hour after hour. Where else but in the magical lens of shrinky dinks? Okay, there we go. Let me look at chat, see if I missed anything. Oh, that's interesting. Samurai Ox places a suggestion for Tank Girl. So it's a request / suggestion, so thank you for that. But it's interesting because the color is all the same as your name. I don't know what you did there differently to make that happen, but it's quite fancy and got you some extra points there, buddy. All right, and so then he's got his wingers. He's got his stingwingers. They don't sting. I don't know. It rhymes. Stingwinger. Stingwinger, is that a Beetleborg thing? What is Stingwinger? Is it a Pokemon? I feel like it's something. It's something, guys. It's definitely a thing of some. All right, and there's more wing shadow. More wing shadow. Anybody doing anything exciting tonight, right now, this weekend? Either currently playing a new video game while you're watching me be an idiot on art, or doing your own art, or are you just killing time until you go out and see some kind of special, super, I don't know, play or movie or concert? Actually, I don't want to put that line there because these are not full wings. These are shadow wings. And a little line there, and a scoop, 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 scoop-a-doop. This is like some random church detailing or something. I don't know what that is. Grave mausoleum. A mausoleum! New from Ronaldo. And this kind of goes up like that. So that shadow should actually be intersected. Whatever. We're doing it quick. And a little bit. FaceTime. FaceTime. Pockets. He's got a pocket full of power. Got a handle on control. And I think I made his lapels a bit too big, but that's okay. And color in some of that shatters. I'm going to put a lot of dark in the eyes, because then I'm going to put a little glow in the eyes. Like this. Alright, so I'm probably not going to do color on this one. But I'm going to do another pass on top. Let's get those lines a little more firmed up. Send boot camp. Get those lines shiny. Shiny? Whatever. Bring that up to 100. Get the hard round pressure size. I'm at 28. I'm going to bring that to 20. I'm going to check the chat while I take a sip. Urzuki also does magic. Oh, I see what's happening. You guys are figuring stuff out. Samurai Ox, setting up my new iPhone while I order groceries. Urzuki says, wow, Ox, you're a man about town. And it does sound like you're a man about town. You are multitasking. You're setting things up, you're ordering things, and you're watching this. What can't you do? You can't act with dishonor because you are a Samurai Ox. Samurai Ox, my old one was 4 years old, but now I have everything necessary to make a decent art stream. Well, that's excellent. And that is what you should be doing ASAP. Oh, that's cool, Ox. Looking forward to seeing some Ox streams. Urzuki, yes. So say we all. So say we all. Okay, enough of that. Let me get in here. I'm going to do... Oh, you know what? That's still too thick. I'm going to go down to 15. 15. I'm actually typing in 15 as opposed to using the stupid slider because the slider's a piece of poop. Poop slider. New from Arby's. Get the poop slider. After a hard day working, I just can't bother eating and then going to the bathroom. That's why it's great to go to Arby's, where you could get the poop slider. 2-in-1 combo. Saves me time. I won't go into details about how this works, but I think you get it. It's gross. I'll stop now. Poop slider. New from Arby's. All right. Okay, 6:30, so we got a half hour. I continually spend too long on these things. I'm definitely not doing color on this because it's already taken too long. And I want to zoom in and do more detail on the face to try to make it look more like the actor, but I'm going to resist that. I'm going to resist that urge because that's counterproductive to what we're working on right here. And I will probably put just a quick shadow pass. Shadow pass. It's Gandalf's other horse. Over the whole thing, just to give it a little bit, because to give it what? Gravitas. The word of the day. Gravitas. All right. So going back in with those lapellers. Lapellers? I thought you said propellers. Who? The geniuses behind propeller tops. All right. And a little shirt action, and I can't really see his belt, but I assume he's wearing one because his pants don't fall down, so, you know. How's that happen if you don't have a belt? Well, I guess if your waist is exactly the proper size to your pants, but I don't think that's the case with this feller here. I mean, he's a trench coat wearing guy. He's not a fitted suit, perfect leg hip ratio thigh man. That'd be too much. He can't have a tie and wings and have the perfect leg high, whatever I said, ratio. Oh boy. There's a reason why I don't do these streams for that long. All right, and give him some fingers here. And this one's up a little bit with a little bit of flair. And then he's got his angel bleeder, which kind of, I feel like it's usually all silver, but in this picture kind of looks like it's black, but maybe that's just the way the light's hitting it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just pretend it's all silver, and then shift to get the straight line with very imperfect, imprecise, as you can see. It gets all bloppy on one side. You know what? I should use pencil for that is what I should do, or I could just do the old stroke erase. Stroke. Nope. And stroke. Stroke. That's terrible. I'm gonna go with pencil, and I'll bring the pencil down to 9, and then we'll do shift with pencil, and that looks a little better. Still not perfect, but I am falling behind schedule here. Falling behind the schedule that I imposed that no one else cares about, but still falling behind regardless. All right, that'll do, pig. And oh, let me go back to brush and finish drawing his face. I just sort of stopped in the middle there, didn't I? I'm drawing the eyes a little bit, but I'm actually going to cover those up with shadow, so it doesn't really matter what I do in there. And then I'll just do a hint of these, because I'm doing mostly this in shadow, but I just want to have a little bit something there. Definitely makes him look very menacing, which I guess in a scene like this he would be. But he could also be a teddy bear sometimes. All right. Oh, you know what? I should go thinner. I keep getting stuck in this one line mentality, which I guess is good since I'm supposed to be doing sketches here. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then he's got some buttons on his jacket. And just some, I don't know, stitching and other garbage on here. And a little bit of this. What's happening? Somebody's doing something good. Oh, whoa! It's Quibix. Quibix, thank you very much for the follow. Quibix, another awesome arty person, and you're going to be a cyborg soon, so, you know, enjoy that. I think we can give you a cybernetic beard if you like, whatever, you know, whatever floats your boat. We're open to all cybernetic life forms, and you could be the kind that suits you best. So, yeah. So I'm almost done with this sketch, and so we got time for probably 2 more. I'm going to do another Inhumanoids Kaiju for myself, and then another request. We got a few requests in there, but there's still time to put in more. This is the second request. Yeah, I definitely want to get 2 more done, so I want to keep working on this in ad infinitum, but I'm going to stop myself because I'm getting crazy here. But I will quick put in the shadow as I said. I'll bring it back up to a 20. Quibix says, yo, Gaz, and I say, yo, Quibix. Erzuki is waving to Quibix. I'm also drawing tonight, just not cool on cam. Well, I'm on cam, I'm just not cool. So we're halfway there. We're both not cool. Yeah, that's awesome, though. Drawing is the good thing to be doing. I'm going to make that 75. I'm fairly new to this whole Twitch thing. This is my 5th stream of this type, like the actual scheduled show, and I've done a few random ones in between, but I'm liking it. I've done YouTube for a while, but I kind of like the immediate feedback you get on here. I don't know. There's it's easier too because you don't have to edit and post. Like, it's done and it's there, and then I could repost to YouTube. So if you could get your setup going, it's fun. It's worth doing. There's not I don't think there's as many artists as there are game streamers and other things. So it's the community isn't as competitive as YouTube as far as just getting people to check you out. And a lot of people in here are artists, and so there's supportive community that way too. All right, and let me get a bigger brush here for the wing area. La 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 la. I'm curious how your show went too, Quibix. Quibix, again, an artist and the founder of Collection DX, an awesome vintage Japanese robot toy site. More than that, but you get the idea. Who has been selling some cool art prints and very like heavy metal skull stuff, and just did his first, I believe it was his first convention. And so I'm hoping it went well. Okay. The wingers are all shadow, and then sort of a little bit of this sort of. Yeah, I definitely went for a darker, more imposing. This is not the cast you want to meet. This is not cast. This is Castiel. Let me do some erasing in here. Let me see if I take that down to 50%. Yeah, it's a little bit better. And then gotta do the white of the eye. He's got his glow power going. Whoa, that is way too much. Let's see, Quibix. I am also joined tonight. Yeah, I downloaded stream software, but I haven't tried it. It went okay for first show. Sold 4 prints and 4 sketches. Sold mostly pins and stickers, though. Double tip. Well, that's great. Selling pins and stickers, I always say, like, having those little things, it adds up. I did a Godzilla show, and I made like a couple $100 just on the pins. Like I didn't bring enough, which shocked me. So good. But yeah, doubling cost of table on your first show, that's great. My first couple shows, I lost money. It took me a few shows to get to the point where I was breaking even. So if you made money your first show, you win. And I saw your setup, some of your posts online, and you already, you had definitely a more professional setup than a lot of people do, certainly than I did when I started, where I just had like some art sitting on a table. Like you had a backdrop and stuff. Like I didn't have that for a while. Even I was making money and still didn't have that for a while. So, all right, I'm gonna put a sort of a bluish, grayish hue just behind the whole thing here. Just yeah, and then I'm gonna go in and put a white to just sort of make this. I don't know. The dumb thing is, I'm like, it looks so unfinished. I need to work on it more, but that's not the point of this stream. But actually, hold on. I shouldn't have done that on the wing. I'll just do it on him, like this, like that, and maybe a couple lines from on heaven. And we'll take this down to 75. Wait, did I take it down? Yeah, let me down to 50. And then just a couple here, here, here. And bring this down. All right. All right. I want to keep going. Like I always say, I'm going to call this done. Castiel, you're done. Get out of here. Okay, and then I will erase all this. And I'll quick take a look. So we got 20 minutes or so. This is Ox. Thanks. Oh, sorry. Table is super cheap, LOL. Well, that's the way you start, though. I mean, I've talked to some people that like start off at Wizard World and pay $350 for a table, and then they're like, I didn't make table. And it's like, why didn't you do a local show? Why didn't you do a comic store, a library, or something? So regardless, you still are doing the right thing business-wise. I mean, I'm sure you know that. If you walk away with money, then all you're spending is your time. And if you feel like it was worth your time, then great. Airzuki, yeah, Quibix, your setup look awesome. This is Cube, by the way. Quibix, thank the kind word to watch your Artist Alley. Well, I'm glad they help. I've heard. It's funny. I've gotten more comments on those Artist Alley videos than a lot of my other art, which is sort of it's nice, but also like, oh well. Like I've had people come up to me at shows like, oh man, I love your videos. They help me set up. I'm like, great. And like, what's this art you do? Like, okay. But no, I'm happy it helps. Samurai Ox, Illusions Shattered, Zooks, Shatters Illusions. I love watching people create art. Well, thanks, Dolly. There's a lot of good artists, like I said, right in this stream. So you're welcome everywhere. And then Kubix, that's nuts. I got the application for it on comments, $300. Yeah, and I've done some shows that cost that much and made money, but not in the beginning. Like at this point, I could kind of gauge whether I think it's gonna be worth it or not. And sometimes I don't even make a ton of money, but enough that like I covered my costs, I made a little bit of money, and maybe it was worth it because I get a commission later or something. Excuse me. All right, let me get to work on my other Inhumanoid so that I could do one more request before we end here. Let me look at the Inhumanoids. I was going to do Decompose, who's actually my favorite of the three. He's sort of like a big zombie Godzilla almost. I mean, he's got more of a human form, but actually, I should show you the toy just like I did with Tendril here. Oops, those are the three of them, and so if I zoom in, the one on the left here, that's the guy I'm going for. He's a little goofy. It's funny because he's the one I most wanted as a kid, and kind of still do, but he's definitely the worst figure. But he was my favorite monster character design in the show. So I will not be going off the toy so much as the comic or the TV show with my sketch here. And I'm just going to, again, do sort of a waist up sort of thing. Actually, you know what? That might even be too much. I'm just going to do a head because I'm running out of time here. So let me switch image rotation, 90 degrees clockwise, glutes, and here we go. We'll do a little bit of orange. We're going to have to do this quick. So he's got, oh, you know what? There's a bad reference because he's fighting someone. Quibix, that was a great toy. I had Tendril, but had a broken tooth. A lot of people have broken tooths on Tendril. I think that's the common thing. Tendril seems like the best toy of the three in terms of just looking cool and representing the character. But, I mean, I'd be happy to get all three of them or any of them. Like, as far as like what makes a good toy, I think Tendril by far is the best. But in my heart of hearts, my sentimental self, I want Decompose. I want to put a figure in his chest and turn it into a zombie. All right. Yeah, he's another one like that. The toy is so different from the comic, which is so different from the animation. All right, I'm just gonna have to go quick here. So he's got a bald head, and then he's got sort of evil eyes, and then a long snout with some sort of triangle nostrils. And then he's got two big fangs, and depending on it, like the toy almost looks like one big buck tooth kind of fang. And then the comic, he looks like he has like big vampire fangs. But in the show, I mean, they're big, but they're not. It's like a wolf or something, it looks like. So, and again, they would be kind of that red glow with the piping, like I was talking before about the other characters, the toys, I should say, figures. And then he's got a big old jaw coming down, like so. And so this should actually pull in a little bit more. And then his whole body is sort of like a rotted yellowish with some bones sticking out, specifically on his chest. You can see his rib cage. And as I said, in the show and in the toy, you could kind of put characters or figures in there, and he would scream like, "Decompose!" I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. In my mind, it's like the same voice actor as Cobra Commander and Starscream, that kind of raspy. But I don't know if actually that's the same guy, but similar type at the very least. And he'd yell "Decompose," and he would rot things or turn people into zombies. All right, so I'm definitely blazing through this much quicker than the other ones. Let me do another pass here real quick. And I'll go ahead and get a darker color. And I will go with the hard round pressure size, and I'll bring it down to 28. Let's see. That's nuts. I got the Samurai starts picking up the mess that Erzuki has made. Kubix, that's a great toy. I had tender broken tooth. Erzuki, Daligo, that's like magic to me. Quibix, I don't know that I ever saw the cartoon. I remember the comic, though. Oh, that's funny. Well, here's the thing. I definitely saw the cartoon, and I saw it again like more recently as an adult. Not, yesterday, but like a few years ago. And as a kid, I watched it. It was part of a thing. I forget what it was called, but it was like a Sunday, block. And it had rotating cartoons, so it would be on for like an hour or two, but they wouldn't show necessarily full episodes even. They'd show like parts of them. And it was different weeks and stuff. So, but it had Inhumanoids, Robotics, Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines, Gem and the Holograms. There might have been another one in there, but those were like the main ones that I remember. And I would hate it when it was like Bigfoot. That's funny talking about Muscle Machines again, because I had to draw Gravedigger the other day. But I would hate it when it was like Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines. Of like, oh, come on. It's like giant robots, cool. Giant monsters, cool. I'll even take some punk rock, hologram lady band. And then it would be monster trucks. And that was absolutely my least favorite. I'd always be so disappointed. But in Humanoids, that's where I knew it from originally. And in my mind, it was just this little mini series. And years later, I got like a video cassette of like the entire series. And it's like, 2 hours roughly. And that's what it was for me forever. And very recently, I don't know if it was Toy Galaxy, some YouTuber was talking about it. And then after the mini series, they had like a whole season of like 13 more episodes that introduced a third crazy monster that was not one of the toys or one of the original ones, and it had like another member of Earth Corps that was like an evil guy. Like he wasn't a member of Earth Corps, but he was like a armored evil scientist and stuff. And I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. Actually, I should go see if I can find it, put it on my Amazon wish list because I forgot about it till just this second. But yeah, I definitely want to see some more giant 80s monster kaiju fighty stuff that I didn't know existed until super recently. Robotics and the other one, well, Gem got its own full show after a while. Robotics and Bigfoot, I don't think ever became anything else. Let's see. So, Dolly Girl, I totally agree. My grandma is an artist and paints. Oh, that's awesome. And it just amazes me. I can stare at her make art all day. Well, that's cool that you got artists in your family like that. Airzuki, oh, that's awesome. I could definitely fall into Cloverfield role. It's so pretty. Quibix, it might have been just after my time. I started aging out of Saturday morning cartoons around 86 or so. Airzuki, yeah, it still hasn't aged us. That's true. Well, I aged back in Quibix, yeah. I forget how old you are. I think you might be like 2 years older than me. Like we're pretty close in age, but I think you're just a little bit older than me if I remember right. But it's definitely true that I went through a period where I was embarrassed to buy toys and watch cartoons, but I didn't stop. I just hid it from my classmates, you know? Like I was like, oh, they'd make fun of me if I did this, but it's not like I'm going to stop. That's not an option. But I'm trying to think of how old I was. I don't think I was too old though, because I think I was like 9 or 10 around the time that was on. So I think that was still like, even in conservative estimates, that's still an appropriate age for most people to be watching cartoons, especially if it's about monsters and stuff. And if not, whatever, who cares? But so if you were, if you're a few years older than me and you were like 13, 14, that would have been the age where I also was like, I gotta hide this. I remember like oftentimes when I was in high school, well, I shouldn't say oftentimes, a few times I like cut class or pretended to be sick so that I could go to the store and buy toys when I knew there wouldn't be any of my classmates or their families in the store to see me buy them. Because I was like, well, I got to get these toys, but I don't want to get made fun of, so I'll just pretend I'm sick and cut school, because school is the least part of the important part of the equation. Getting the toys was number one. Not getting made fun of in school was number two, and getting good grades was like a far way down the list third. All right, I'm just gonna go in with color now. I can't spend too much time on this because I want to be able to do another request. So let me grab sort of a sickly yellow and switch over to pencil. Take another sip. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? It seems like you could hear me. I see it coming up. I'm going to keep talking until you guys tell me you can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. You can hear me? Okay, yeah, that's weird. Sorry. When I flip this up, it mutes it, and then when I flip it down, it unmutes it. I guess it just got sticky. Sorry about that. I don't know what I was saying. I tried skateboarding several times in my life, was never good at it. The two times I tried it most seriously, I hurt myself bad enough that I stopped. Not where like I broke my arm or anything, but I skinned up my elbow down to the bone and still have a scar. And another time I sprained my arm so bad I couldn't draw for 2 weeks. So both times I was like, nah, that's, I was in love with the idea of skating, and like I wanted to be a skater, but I didn't want to deal with the pain that it would take to get me to be a skater, I guess is the best way to put it. And I never got real into metal. I tried to get into metal. I lived in Delaware for a while, and like everybody, metal was the cool thing. And I probably like metal now more now than I used to. It's still not my favorite form of music, but I found some bands I like and stuff. But when I was trying to get into metal, one of the bands that I liked the best was Megadeth, and they had a song Hangar 18 about aliens, which I liked, and they did a cover of a Sex Pistols song, and it was Anarchy in the UK, but they did Anarchy in the USA, and that was like my favorite metal song. And then I found out it was a punk song, and then I started listening to punk. And then I guess somebody else introduced me to the Misfits, which was sort of like the perfect blend of both, and it also had horror in it, so perfect. All right. Wow, we are really on the okay. I'm doing shading on the same level. Look at this. It's crazy town. Just to get some of that sickliness in there, and a little bit of shading on here. So, oop, that is way too dark. I don't think purple's quite right. I guess it's not that he's purple, it's that the purple is the shading color in whatever cavern he's in or something. I don't know what color his mouth is supposed to be inside. Well, again, no time to worry about it. Got to quick finish this up and move on to the next. I got to relook at the chat to see what the suggestions were, but I could tell you it's probably going to be largely, my choice is going to be largely predicated on what I could do quickly without too much reference because we are running short on time. All right. And oh, I'll just do a quick color background. We'll do something sort of brownish reddish, like he's underground. And we'll do another darker color, and we'll bring this down. Oh, actually, I should do brush instead of pencil. Brush, and bring that up to 92. But I still have the opacity at 100. That was a mistake. Opacity at 50%. Just try to messy it up. And then we'll go lighter. A lot of the old cartoons would have like painted backgrounds with like really crisp cell animation, which is not exactly what I'm achieving here, but that's kind of what I had in mind. But it's something that would take more time. I kind of made a mistake trying to get it, but it's an impressionistic. That's my impressionistic background. All right. Oh, I guess I should put the glow since I gave it to everybody else from the Inhumanoids. I'll give him the glow on his teeth. Nice red glow hue. Bring this up. And then do some erase. 50% on the eraser. And make that bigger. And bring that whole thing down to 50%. There we go, done. All right, so there's a quick decompose. Would have liked to spend more time on it, but it actually came out better than I thought for how quick that was. Decompose. Done. And we'll do the final request of the evening. Let me check the chat here. Okay. You went silent. I can hear. Okay, everybody can hear me now. Xavier, I got too many Skinners. I want to keep skateboarding. Wait. Oh, Shinners. That makes more sense. There are still dips in my tibia from the board today. Yeah, I just didn't. I've never been a kid that was super athletic. The few sports or athletic things I liked were very solitary. Like I took martial arts for a while. Didn't follow through, but I was never on any team. So skateboarding appealed to me in that way. But I did not like pain, and I still don't. So like I kept hurting myself, and it's like I know some people are like, well, you do that 50 times, and then you can ollie, and it's like twice is enough. I used it to get around town. I never really learned many tricks. I could like tic tac. That was about it. Quibix, yeah, that's a great album. I was equally into punk and metal all the time. Dead Kennedy, Circle Jerks, yeah. Yeah, for whatever reason, punk spoke to me more than metal. And it's not even about the lyrics or the ethos, although that might be part of it as I got older, but just I liked the messier guitar and the quicker songs more than like some of the best metal songs with like the super intricate stuff and like I appreciate them for what they are, but it just didn't like rock me, for lack of a better term. All right, I gotta figure out what I'm doing because we're almost out of time here. Neon. Just looking back through the chat to see what suggestions because I already forgot all of them. Sounds like Arzuki figured out the math before I did. Okay, I'm scrolling back. Scrolling back. All the suggestions were earlier. I know there was White Beetleborg is the only one I remember off the top of my head. Falcor, there was Falcor. I did Castiel. Right? White Beetleborg and Castiel are the only... I'm sorry. White Beetleborg and Falcor are the only two I'm remembering and seeing. Oh, Rocket Raccoon. I'm going to do Rocket Raccoon because I could do him without any reference. I'm just going to go. Because I'm not going to do any particular comics artist style, and I'm not going to do the movie. I'm just going to do, hey, somebody just told me there's a character named Rocket Raccoon. What am I going to do? And so this is my quick out of my head Rocket Raccoon style. And that is what we'll end on. So, got to give him some big bandit eyes for sure. And his little raccoon nozzles. You know what? I think this one I need to switch the canvas rotation as well because he's got a big wide head. There we go. And he's got kind of like big puffy raccoon puffs. What do raccoon ears are kind of pointy up like that, or at least this one is. And I'll kind of give him he should have a big toothy grin. I'm Rocket. F you. And then maybe a gun in frame here a little bit. I feel like the original Rocket Raccoon had like a jetpack, and they don't do that as much. Like they've had it show up in the movies a little bit, but I guess it's because it'd be hard if he's flying around all the time with everybody else, not flying around all the time. Bushy tail. All right, take this down to 50. Ox. Oh, yeah. I'm guessing it was his suggestion. I'm going to take a sip without muting. That was probably terrible. I'm sorry, but I'm worried that my mute is getting glitchy. All right, make that up to big. Make that up to big. And I'll bring this down to 25. Actually, not quite that big. And new layer. Oh, I'm at 50. I don't want 50. I want 75. Opacity, that is. Yeah, a lot of art streamers put music, which is good because, well, like, obviously I keep talking nonstop, but it is tiring, like, on my voice after a while. And a lot of art streamers, I think, don't keep up the talking as much as I do, and or just like having music. But it definitely fills the silence, especially, in the beginning when there aren't as many people watching yet or whatever. But there are like copyright things, and so you have to use like kind of generic music, and like all the music I'd want to put on I would not be able to use, especially, and then I repost to YouTube. But even without that, I put up a video. One of my first ones, I did a bunch of Power Ranger stuff, and I had, or no, I'm sorry, some Godzilla stuff, and I had some Godzilla music, like a YouTube playlist of all Godzilla theme songs playing in the background, and it got flagged. Like it didn't take it down, but it muted parts of it where like I guess I wasn't talking enough while the music was playing. So it was a funny thing where like the few times where I wasn't talking while the music was playing, it caught it, but the rest of the time when I was talking, I got by. I don't know, it was weird. Point is, that's why I don't have any music on. But there are sort of more generic music you can use. Like the little thing I have when stream's starting soon, I have music on. That's like royalty-free music that I'm able to use. But I don't know. It's not that great. I'm not loving his smile, but I am running low on time. What a conundrum. What a conundrum. Let's see what it says. I'm equally excited. Quibix. I'm equally excited to play music as I am to draw, but I doubt I'll repost on YouTube. Yeah, if you don't repost on YouTube, you're safer, but yeah, it's still tough. Like I would say, put the volume down low and try to have other sound going on, because I think it's when it clearly hears like full parts of a song is when they catch you, But again, I see people all the time like with like, copyrighted music being played in the background, and I don't maybe, oh, you know what it might be? Here's what it is. When you're live, you're kind of fine. But what happened is, not even YouTube, but there's like the videos, it saves videos on Twitch. And I don't even know that you're doing Twitch, but if you were going to do Twitch, it saves the videos on Twitch. So like if you look at my back file, it saves it for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, however long it saves it. And those there are the ones that it mutes part of them because I had the music. So when I was live like this, if that's all you're doing, then yeah, you can probably put on whatever music you want. But I like the idea of having it available for people to listen to, watch later on, even if it's not on YouTube. And that's where the problem comes in. Although I could experiment a little bit, try to find something that, while royalty free, is like not, kind of in my wheelhouse of what I like. Or I thought I'd be safe putting on Japanese music because it's like less likely to be flagged. But again, I got flagged for like Godzilla instrumental theme songs, so like that kind of. But it all depends on priorities. And if you're just like looking for an excuse to draw and have some people hang out, then you could probably get away with it more. Let's see. I appreciate the talking. Dolly says, I have it on speaker while I cook for dinner. Oh, well, that's great. Yeah, and that's a lot of times I watch stuff while I'm, doing other things as well. So I have a hard time sometimes with artists who I might really like their art and want to support them, and I might put the video on, but if they don't talk for long stretches, I have a hard time staying engaged because, as Dolly said, I'll be drawing sometimes too, like some of you guys are, where you're not necessarily looking at the screen the whole time. So if there isn't an audio component to it, it's not as engaging, unfortunately. And no blame. I mean, I understand that. And some people prefer it that way. I'm sure there are some people that get sick of hearing the talking all the time, but I kind of create these videos the way I would want to watch them and hope others, share that aesthetic taste. Let me see. Seems Twitch doesn't care about music during live. Yes, that is sort of what I'm saying. During live stream, you're fine. In the rebroadcast or the save file, then they might get you. That's kind of how it looks to me. But again, I'm no expert. This is just what I've observed over the last month or so that I've been doing it. Excuse me. Boy, my voice is getting a little toasty. My pipes are getting toasty, as Jack Black would say. And his paw should be darker than this. I'm not gonna have time to color this, unfortunately. I'm rushing. I'm at 7 now, so I'm technically done, but I'm gonna keep going to get this a little bit more finished, but I'm not gonna do color. And what else did I miss here? Xavier says, I time-lapse my stuff, mute the vids for when I go to YouTube. That works too, I guess. I like the automatic exporting though, because again, it saves me time. Like I try to be as active as I can on social media, but it's such a fine line because it wastes time that I could be drawing or doing other things. So anything I could do to save myself time, and with Twitch, you could do the auto export, and if I don't put music on, I'm done. All I have to do is make a thumbnail and I'm done. So again, it's to each their own, whatever works, wherever you feel your time is best spent, etc. I kind of had his tail back here. You can't really see it, but I'll do the sort of bushy stripes kind of coming up this way. This definitely looks more comic booky than movie, but again, I didn't look at any reference. I didn't think of any particular one. This is just sort of out of my head. Rocket Raccoon, and I feel like I'm gonna use the magic of digital to move this eye over a little bit because I definitely should. Yeah, that looks better. And I think I want to move that eye over too. I think that was the whole thing. Both the eyes were moved over a little bit too much to the left. And I'll shrink it just a skosh. Wonk. But yeah. And again, if I like got a job working on Rocket Raccoon, I'd spend a long time doing research and figuring out my own version of it, make it look a little more raccoony than this probably does. But out of my head, not the worst in the world. I hear Rocket. There's a fin. Probably doesn't make sense, but whatever. And if I take that down to 25. Actually, I could just get rid of that altogether. Yeah, get rid of that altogether. And do raccoons have stripes? Should he have stripes on his face? While I think about that, if you have an answer, tell me. I'm going to catch up on the chat real quick. Erzuki, yeah, during live stream it's fine. It's just for replays. So there you go. HK Xavier, yeah, the replays are rough, but hey. Kubix, Twitch seems to be fun. I don't know I could keep up a weekly schedule, and it seems like there's a lot of things like picking a stream to put people on when you're done. You don't have to do that. Lots of Twitch etiquette. I guess there is. I mean, I follow people and I do what's called lurking, where maybe I can't talk, but I'll just put their video on, and so they're getting the credit. And when I'm done here, I'll raid someone. Usually I'll raid Erzuki, but maybe I'll raid someone else. And all that means is like someone you follow, you send all the people watching over there. They may stay, they may not. But that's not even something you have to do, especially in the beginning. Just, put it up and see if people watch. I wouldn't give it too much thought. Erzuki started doing it, and I started doing it because it seemed easy enough, and, let's see, lots of Twitch etiquette. Diane Glitter, do you know that your mom is watching? I do now. You should be in bed, young lady. It's got to be close to midnight where you are. Samurai Ox got some dogs being shocked about this news. Diane Glitter, someone should give you a drink. Galaxy Quest, what? Hold on a sec. There, I've had a drink. Hopefully you can still hear me. No, on tail. I put it on the tail. I just meant on the face. Yay, she signed up. It's funny is that my Diane Glitter is my mom, and she has not followed me. Well, I'm glad you're here, Diane Glitter. I don't know if you just got here, but we're actually closing up at this point. Click the heart above his video to follow. LOL. All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit of red in his eyes as we close out here. I'm not gonna get too crazy. And again, this is definitely more comic book style by putting the red in. But I want to thank everybody for coming and checking out. I want to thank the returning champions. I want to thank the new people. I want to thank the lurkers. I want to thank the people who followed me for the first time, the people who have been following me for a while, everybody who's checking it out. I love it. I love hanging out. I love getting the feedback and the requests and everything else. I do this every Friday night. Typically it's 5:30 to 7. I've been thinking about expanding it, maybe starting a little earlier. If I do, there'll be a notification below. You can see when the next stream's coming up. I sometimes do other streams. I'll probably do one this week sometime. But I always do it at least once a week, and this is the request time. So if you come in, you don't have to request, but now's the time to get those requests in. And I'm going to put a little bit of, even though it's not color, I'm going to put a little bit of color in the background, sort of a dark blue like space. And what time is it? Yeah, 7:05. So pretty close to when I'm supposed to end. So that's good. And then yeah, if you want to stick around, I'll see who I'm gonna send the raid to, which I don't know yet. Like I said, if I can't think of any others, I will just go with Airzuki. And I'm gonna put a little white for the whiskers here. White for the whiskers. I want darker white. And I want a more heavy line. There we go. Now we're doing it. White whiskers. Okay. I'll put a little glint in his eye. There we go. That's too evil. All right, let me save this up. Oh, not decompose. It's Rocket Raccoon. All right, that is saved. And let me check the chat. Let me move this over. That's my Cintiq. I'm going to bring my little keyboard right in front of me. And I need to open up. That's the thing, is I'm using OBS and StreamWorks to get all these little windows and things like that. But to do the raid, I actually have to go to Twitch. So I'm going to open Twitch on another window as I'm closing out here. And let's see. Click. Diane Glitter. I follow now. I know.
Well, it depends on if we're doing quick play or
I didn't get a notification that you're following me. I think, Diane Glitter, you still might not be following me. But Airzuki says she's learning. Deli Girl, thank you for the stream. Well, you're welcome. Thank you. Diane Glitter bows. Quibix, I'm out. Have a good one. I'm going to be out too. You have a good one as well. Bye, Quibble. It's Quibix.
No worries.
Or not Quibble. Oh, boy.
You'll just
All right, let me see if I can get a raid going here. Who is streaming? Let me see. If there's an artist.
I chat when I talk to the stream, but I don't have a button to mute Discord, so
I don't know if there's an artist going right now. I don't think there is, so I'm just gonna send everybody over to Airzuki because she's my wife.
A good birthday stream.
So that's that. I don't have permission to perform that action. What? Oh, I'm not on my own channel. Sorry. I'm still kind of new. Some of these things I still have to figure out. What? Oh, I'm not on my own channel. All right, there we go. Sorry. I'm still kind of new. Some of these things I still have to figure out. What? Oh, I'm not on my own channel. Okay, right, ready to raid in 9 seconds. So I'm still kind of new. Some of these things I still have to figure out. What? Oh, I'm not on my own channel. Mute that site. All right, so in just a few seconds, I'm going to raid over. But once again, thank you, everybody, for checking it out. I hope to see you next week. I hope to see you around. You can check me out. I'm on YouTube. I rebroadcast. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Etsy. I got the store below. All that stuff. Thanks, everybody. And that's it for now. I am Gazbot, and I am powering down.